Hello?
I'm here for Lewis Parker.
Oh, come on.
Good morning. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Monday, February 1st, 2021. Complies with the Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order number 33. We are not conducting in-person proceedings. However, we're holding these hearings through Zoom. Comply with the Texas Open Courts Act. We are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public can have meaningful access to what occurs inside a public courtroom. No portion of this court hearing may be copied, recorded, or published. Violations of this order are punishable by contempt of court of up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and up to a $500 fine. We want to remind everyone that this is a court hearing, so people are expected to behave appropriately for court. So please do not be laying down, using the lavatory, taking showers, consuming alcohol, or having domesticated animals cross the screen. People are expected to behave appropriately. Please have your cameras on, and please do not have bright lights behind your face, as that shadows out your face. All right, we're going to start with Tyler Blankenship. Tyler Blankenship. All right, Mr. Blankenship, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. Law says when a child's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, we will provide one for you. We've appointed Mr. Willett as your attorney for today. I've not seen Mr. Willett, so I'm going to ask Ms. Hopkins to go ahead and substitute. Ms. Hopkins, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, Tyler, let's see. You're 16 years old. First came in last June for theft of mail. Organized crime. You received probation for that in July of last year. Then you're arrested New Year's Eve for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. And then you were let go. But there's an affidavit of non-prosecution, so we'll see what happens for you there. So then, this couple days ago, Arlington Police brought you in. According to the report, you were a passenger in a vehicle. That was a traffic accident. And witnesses said you got out of the vehicle to put your property and hid it behind a brick structure by the traffic control device at the northwest corner of the intersection. Police retrieved the property at a teal plastic bag with cartridges of THC oil. You admitted to trying to hide the property. So now you're in possession of manufacturing or delivery of controlled substance from 4 to 400 grams. So you're looking at a first-degree felony. So you're potentially looking at, if this is an adult case, 5 to 99 years in prison over this. So, all right. Well, we give you a drug test and you were positive for marijuana. So you have pending cases, you're smoking weed, and it looks like you're dealing THC. So I think the only way to keep you here is to keep you from using controlled substances and breaking the law is to keep you here. you have a parent here for Tyler?
Your Honor, I sent Grandma the link. She wasn't feeling well this morning, but she said she was getting on. So no, sir, she's not on.
Okay. All right, Stephanie, I think we're probably gonna just tell Mr. Willett that I want to do this motion modified disposition pretty quickly. All right, and we'll just try and find days for him. So, all right, Tyler, just to let you know, I don't think probation's really working out for you if this is all true. And so we just,
Your Honor.
Hold on a second, if I can finish my sentence.
My bad.
We're gonna have to address this issue, and we'll have a hearing pretty quickly on whether you violated your one or more terms of your probation. If you have, they have to decide whether to keep you on probation or to send you to THJD. All right, did you have a question for me?
Yeah, I did. Is there any
Blankenship?
house arrest? I wasn't selling.
Hold on, that doesn't sound like a question. So do you have a question for me?
Could you put me on house arrest?
No, you're
I
smoking
didn't cut
weed
off
while
my
you're on
ankle.
probation.
I didn't cut off my ankle monitor last time. I started quitting weed.
So you want a cookie? I mean, you're telling me that like you violated some of your probation, but you didn't violate others, so you need to get rewarded?
No, I'm
You're
just
smoking weed while you're on probation.
I quit. I failed my drug test last week.
You quit when you came to Kimbo, right?
So,
Mr. Blankenship.
Yeah,
yes.
these aren't questions, Tyler. So decisions have consequences. Anyway, so I'm going to go and detain you. Thank you, Mr. Blankenship.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Euless Goodwin. All right, Mr. Goodwin, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I need to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. You're not affordable. We'll provide one for you. Mr. Berger is your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Berger.
Morning, Judge.
All right, Euless, let's see. Saturday you referred, or Friday you referred by Arlington for burglary of a building. On Friday about 7:45 at night, they were dispatched for a burglary call at a storage unit. When they found you and detained you, that the husband had restrained. I'm guessing the husband of the owner of the storage unit. Let's see. Victim said when they arrived to their storage unit, they saw a black male standing near the unit. Wife unlocked the unit, opened the door, saw 3 male suspects rushing out. Pushing the wife caused her to fall. Husband grabbed one of the suspects to restrain him. Victims say that 2 pairs of Air Jordans, 2 iPads, iPhone 4, iPhone 5, and a Fitbit were taken. Total value was $1,300. Police report said that while they're handcuffing you, a Fitbit fell and recovered, which she said belonged to her. Storage unit manager made the scene, reported to police that someone had also been inside her unit, but wasn't sure if anything was stolen. Euless told the police that he and his companions entered the storage unit through a cutout in the roof and said Euless did provide information of other suspects, but not their name or his. And you had a runaway report. He was on probation for criminal mischief and burglary of a vehicle. But he was clean on his UA. Or do we have a parent here for Mr. Goodwin?
Yes.
Okay, where's the parent? The parent room. All right. So how long had he been runaway for?
Just for that evening, but he's ran away 4 times since October, one of which was overnight.
Hold on a second. Ms. Hawthorne, are you in a moving car?
Yes, sir. I'm not driving.
It doesn't matter if you're driving or not. I specifically said at the beginning, please do not be in a moving vehicle.
Okay.
You can't be in, y'all pull over.
Okay.
I told you not to turn the camera off either. All right, so I'm sorry, Mom. So he had run away the day before?
It was that day that he ran away.
Okay.
He ran away after he was into a fight. It was said by the officer at the school that it was a gang fight. And so after the school sometime, he didn't get off the bus. He didn't come home. We never heard from him, and that's out of his out of his norm.
This is the first time he ran away?
No, he's ran away 4 times since October.
All right, so what are we going to, like, what can we do?
He has previous charges. He's been to this court before, previously for arson and other charges. The last time he ran away 2 weeks before this last Friday, he stole 3 of my handguns out of my house. It's believed, I can only say it's believed that the boys that he was with has 2 of the guns and he's hiding 1 of them.
He's a menace to society and us. He needs to be somewhere where he cannot be around anyone. He needs to be locked up. He's a menace.
Your Honor, can I interject, please?
Yes, Mr. Ligon?
We just now received a report, like within the last couple of minutes, for theft of a firearm. That has not been, that's not included in the offense report. I haven't even read the details on it. That's how fresh it is, but we did just receive it.
Okay. So, Mom, those weapons are not recovered, correct?
They're not recovered.
Okay. All right. Well, Euless, I'm not going to, whenever there's a gun involved with a kid, you know that I always hold them. So I just need to be careful about releasing children so they don't have access to the same guns that they were involved with. So I'm going to let you know now, until those guns are recovered, I'm pretty much going to keep you here. So if you want to tell your attorney on how we can recover those guns, so I feel like it's somewhat safe to release you, that's a really good start. But until then, I'm not going to put you on the street so you can go get a gun and then use it. All right? Thank you, Euless.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Bria Heron.
I want to walk there front lobby and get there.
Bria Heron. Bria Heron. Well, Ms. Thomas, please call the detention facility and ask why they haven't brought the child over here. Brian Hyder. Hi, Mr. Hyder, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, we'll provide one for you. Mr. Daniels is your attorney. Ms. Thomas, you called detention?
Your Honor, there's 2. It would be Deanne Thomas.
Oh,
That's
okay.
her.
Yes. Deanne, have you called detention?
I'm in the process of.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Hyder, I told you Mr. Daniels. Good morning, Mr. Daniels.
Good morning, Judge. And I'm not sure, is that Mr. Hyder or is that Tybria Hebron?
No, Tybria is a female, so that should be Fox F Pod. Are you Mr. Hyder?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so yesterday about 3 o'clock, Fort Worth was working the gun show. There was an off-duty officer or a detailed officer working the gun show. 3 individuals known to be gang members were at the show. The Cedar Hill officer said the suspects were walking around holding firearms. And Fort Worth PD was able to identify that they are members of the Jug Team gang. And Brian was identified as one of the gang members in possession of an AK-47 pistol and detained, and none were stolen. So we have a 16-year-old kid walking around a gun show with a pistol. So you have pending aggravated robbery and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charges out of Dallas County. We have a parent here. Mom, do y'all live in Dallas or Tarrant?
We live in Cedar Hill.
You live in Cedar Hill.
Never had any cases against him in Dallas at all. Never been in trouble. And
hold on a second. Ms. Brazel, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so does he have pending cases in Dallas?
I spoke to Dallas County this morning and they received cases on the 6th of January this month for an aggravated robbery and an aggravated assault.
Okay, Mom. So I
that's
guess
not correct. On everything I love on God himself, that's not correct. They pinned that on him.
Mom,
Videos,
Mom. Okay, both of you need to stop talking right now.
okay. You asked me a question. I'm sorry.
just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it's not happening. Trust me, there are plenty of things that happen in the court system that defendants and parents are unaware of until after the fact. So even though you may not know about it, that doesn't mean there's not a case pending against them, right? So
Why hasn't anyone called me? It's been almost 30 days.
they're not required to call you until certain points. They don't have to call you because there's an investigation.
Okay, so if that's the case, there should be a parent involved or someone called because he's not of age. Why hasn't anyone come to me?
Because that is not the law. The police are not required to call the parent if they're doing investigation.
Okay, so there was a robbery.
This is Dallas County. This is a
I've
Dallas
never been in trouble with Dallas County.
about Tarrant County. Right now, it's about your son having a gun.
A police officer sold him.
I'm sorry. I keep on talking when you're interrupting me. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm trying, but you insisting. So please finish your question or your statement.
Go ahead. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Thank you. So just because there's a case pending, so there's evidently an aggravated robbery and aggravated assault deadly weapon cases out of Dallas County that your son is part of. I don't know if it's just a warrant. I don't know if it's an investigation. I don't know if somebody just named him, but somehow he is part of those cases. And so we verified that. So when you say, I swear to God, it's not happening, before you swear to God, I suggest, there may just recognize there may be things that you're unaware of that the law allows you to be unaware of. Right? So at this point, Mr. Hyder, my policy is whenever there's a child brought in with a gun, that I detain the kid. I need to know where the gun came from. I need to know if it's.
Did you know where the gun came from?
I'm sorry. There I go talking while you're interrupting. Go ahead, Mom. No. Go ahead.
Can I talk?
This is probably not the time you want to talk because your mom's just going to interrupt you too.
Sarcasm.
Okay. So Brian, at this point, I'm just going to go and detain you because I'm not comfortable releasing you into the community like you are a danger to the community or to yourself. All right. So Mr. Hyder, if you have a question for me, I don't mind you asking me a question, but if you want to tell me something, your attorney, Mr. Daniels, does not want you to tell me anything. All right. So do you have a question for me or do you want to tell me something?
I can't get like house arrest or nothing.
Oh, you can, but I'm not going to.
I swear to God, I didn't do nothing. I didn't know.
Okay, all right. So I'm just telling you, you got picked up with an AK-47 pistol in your hand. And you're telling
I was holding it for a friend at the gun show.
All right. Again, that doesn't sound like a question. And what I'm telling you is a child under 18 years old cannot be in possession of a firearm. That means care, custody, or control. And it looks like you had care, custody, or control of a firearm. Okay. So that's the thing you Dallas kids don't understand. When you come to Tarrant County and you have a gun, I'm holding you because I need to be comfortable about releasing kids back into the community if you have access to firearms.
That was the only access I had.
That's enough.
Was at the gun show. I'm not gonna hold another one.
Again, your attorney does not want you to be telling me these things, but that is enough. It doesn't matter if you do it once or 100 times. Once is enough. All right. So, all right. Thank you, Mr. Hyder.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jermaine Key. Jermaine Key.
Just give me 1 second.
All right. I don't have to turn the camera off if the kid's right there. Like, it's the only time. Like, that's a valid excuse. Well, they don't check. I mean, if you bring it in with you. All right, Mr. Key, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When the kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. While you're here, you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. I'm going to go ahead and appoint Ms. Taylor has been appointed as your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Taylor. Oh, for Mr. Hyder, make sure you put a note about mom and kid attitudes. Did you use that word? Okay.
Good morning.
Right,
Sorry.
That's okay. Mr. Key, you're 14 years old. You've never been here before.
Suggest that he, if there's no place.
Back on Saturday, police were dispatched for domestic victim,
That way he could be in.
mother and mother's boyfriend. Told police that on Friday you were suspended for school for being in possession of Xanax. For punishment, mom disassembled your bed, made a pallet on the floor to sleep on. I already like mom. She also took away electronics and nice shoes. Mom woke up, found Jermaine sleeping in the brother's bed. He would not get up. She got a belt, spanked him, made him sleep back on the pallet. In the morning, she had to get up for breakfast and told him that she was going to cut his hair. He refused to let her cut his hair and process cut his fingers on the scissors she was holding. Then went to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and acted like he was going to cut somebody. Mother was able to get the knife away. Short time later, Jermaine and his mother got in a fight, and the two fell to the ground. He struck his mother in the head and elbow, causing pain, so he was brought here. All right, so Mom, I just want to let you know, I'm also a judge that does CPS things, and by law, you're required to provide him a roof over his head, a set of clothes, and 2,000 calories a day. Nowhere in there did that say you're required to give him a bed. It doesn't say you have to give him nice shoes. It doesn't mean you have to let him have the hair the way he wants. Mom, you are perfectly within your rights, in my opinion, for what you did. All right, just want to let you know, I don't think you, from what I've seen, I don't think you did a single thing wrong. All right. With that being said, Jermaine, you're 14, you don't have a job, you don't pay bills, you don't pay for the internet, you don't pay for gas, groceries, you don't cook. You just, well, you're just kind of mooching off your parents right now. If you're mooching off your parents with a bad attitude, that just makes your situation worse. So, Mom, just my question, in your opinion, does he need a haircut?
I just wanted to humble him, you know.
I understand. But that's, I mean, there's all kinds. So, Mom, one thing you have to understand about me is I really respect parental rights and I respect parental decisions. And there are all kinds of things parents do that I would never do, but I respect the fact that they're making that decision. Okay. So I'm not second guessing you. I'm just, at this point, I need to figure out if it's okay to release Jermaine. I don't know if he actually pulled out the knife, how much you felt like that was an actual threat. It seemed like you were able to get the knife from him, so it probably wasn't that big of a threat.
Yes.
But I need to make sure that you and your family is safe if I was to release him.
Yeah.
Okay? He's 14 years old. He's never been here before. These are the kind of kids I'm inclined to release to the parents whenever the parents are comfortable.
Yes. It's not who he is.
Right. So my first question for you is, do you feel like your home would be safe if I was to release Jermaine to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Does he have a history of running away?
He does not.
Okay. What are his grades like?
His grades are good.
Okay.
A's and B's. He does well.
All right. So then here's my next question, Mom. Where did the Xanax come from?
According to the school, I mean, it was on his person. He's saying he got it from someone.
Okay.
And I mean, this is the first time that's ever happened. That's not his history. So I think he's following some kids that he probably shouldn't be.
Jermaine, Mom, I'm interrupting you. So Jermaine, you have to understand, your mom and I seem very similar, that we have very hard-line rules and things are either black or white. And either you follow the rules or you don't follow the rules. It really becomes that simple. Okay? So if you don't like it, that's just unfortunate that you're born into this world with a mom who actually is active in your life and finds it important to give you the structure. So, well, Mom, I will tell you, normally in this type of situation, I would hold him here and detain him, make him get to level 1 outstanding before I would consider releasing him, okay? And level 1 outstanding here, there's your set of rules. If you break the rules, you lose points. If you break small rules, you lose small points. If you break big rules, you lose big points. And then if you do what you're supposed to do, you get to level 1 outstanding. And then that shows me he's able to follow the rules. It makes me comfortable to release him. Right? Now, I am willing to release him to you early because I like the amount of structure you're giving, but I'm afraid that it's not going to impress upon him how important it is to follow the rules. Okay? And so I don't know how you feel about this. And to give you an example of the rules, there are certain things like we have a rule you lose points for failure to comply. So our detention staff tells them, get in line here, and he has an attitude. Or if they tell him to stay quiet, then he starts mouthing off. There's something called do not associate. So if he associates with other kids that he's instructed not to, he would lose points. These are all things that kind of go back and translate to home, right? When you tell him to clean up his room, he needs to clean up his room. If he needs to sit down for dinner, do the dishes, not hang out with the kids you don't like. But these all fall into place, right? So Mom, I want your opinion.
To be honest, this isn't what Jermaine is going through right now, isn't who he is. And I think he's just going through some things right now.
Okay.
He's not a bad kid. He's not a bad person.
Okay.
And I think he should be okay to come home. We're gonna do some things different, and we're gonna get back on track.
All right. Would you like us to give him a drug test?
You could. I believe school did on Friday when they caught him, and he didn't have anything in his system, they said, but I'm okay with that.
All right, Mr. Carl, let's go ahead and give him a drug screen, just to see. Because if it's true that he's telling his mom that he just held it and never took it, then they'll show up as a negative, and that's a good thing, right? So that just gives you more information. So it's also one more reason why Jermaine should be more truthful to his mom. So Jermaine, I'm going to ask you now. I mean, I'm just going to lay this out for you. Would you rather just go home now with your mom and at the risk of coming back if your mom tells us you're giving her problems? Or do you want to earn your way back, get to level 1 outstanding, and then prove to your mom that you can do it here and then go home and do it?
I have to go home now. I don't mind.
I'm sorry, I don't understand you.
I said I could go home now.
All right. Now you understand, Jermaine, this is tough. You're 14, you're growing into a young man. Okay? I respect that, I appreciate that. But you understand you're still 14. And your mom still has the legal, moral, and ethical responsibilities to you, right? And so you got to follow it. Like if your mom says your hair's got to be cut, then your hair's got to be cut. You understand? You don't have a say in that, right? Jermaine?
Yeah.
That's a question to you. Do you want to answer the question?
What was the question?
Okay. So your mom you're 14 years old, and your mom has a legal, ethical, moral responsibility for your upbringing and to teach you how to grow into a young man. Okay? So she calls the shots. You're still 14. You're still a kid. At the end of the day, if your mom says, I'm cutting your hair, you understand she's cutting your hair, right?
Yeah.
That's a yes?
Yeah.
That's a yes?
Yes.
Mom, I'm changing my mind. His attitude is just
maybe
not right.
he does need to stay.
Yeah,
His whole demeanor is
right.
really
No,
Jermaine.
Mom, I really respect you. I admire you. But at this point, Jermaine's making decisions that he's trying to flex for me.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not
got a little attitude going, so maybe he does need to stay.
Yeah. So, Mom, even no matter what you said at this point, I would detain him. So, hey, Jermaine, you just made a bad situation worse. I was ready to send you home, but if you're gonna have this attitude, we'll see you in 10 days. If you're level 1 outstanding, I'll consider releasing you. Thank you, Jermaine.
Kiana.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Sorry, Ms. Taylor. I was ready to.
We'll try again.
Defeat snatched from the jaws of victory.
I know. Thanks, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Taylor. Daniela Morales.
Your Honor, I don't see Foxpod logged into.
They're in the
call
waiting
yet.
room. I'm trying to figure out why they just tried to join now. All right, Foxpod. Foxpod, are you there?
Yes,
Okay, so my question is, where have y'all been?
sir.
Yes, where have y'all been?
We was
No,
trying
I'm talking to the security control.
we was trying to get on because we was just getting out of court with Judge Porter.
Will you call Judge Porter and see if he just let out? Okay. Y'all not have another computer? Y'all should have 3 computers back there.
That's what I want. We got another computer over here. Let me see. Copy back console, Zach.
Who's on the radio there?
Mr. Johnny.
Can we have
Okay. Hello, Mr. Johnny?
Mr. Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnny?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out, don't y'all have 3 computers back there?
No, I'm on the girls' part. We got one on H.
Can you turn your radio down? Because I can't hear you with the radio.
All right, we got one on H pod, one on the girls' pod, and one in the back. But I think they're not using the one in the back, so we're gonna get it brought over.
Can you turn your radio off, please?
Yes, I did. Okay, so we got one in the back, one on H pod, and one over on F pod with the girls. We're gonna get the one from the back, since they're not using it, brought over to F pod for the girls.
Right, so why didn't y'all do that 30 minutes ago?
Because they were using it in the back a minute ago.
They were using it back with who?
They had a kid with a 930 court going on.
So then what happened to the computer for F-Pod?
That's the one they're using now. It was on.
It was on?
Yeah.
But somebody just told me that this computer was being used for Judge Porter up until just right now.
Yes, the one computer they have over here.
So what about the one in the back?
That's what they're about to bring over now. They were using it for a 930 court, but they're bringing it now.
So they were using both computers for 930 court?
No, they were using this one for over here with the girls. The other one was being used in the back for 930, and then the one on
Right.
8.
So this computer here,
Mm-hmm.
we started at 10:30.
Yeah.
Why weren't y'all here?
We were here. Mm-hmm.
No, because I called.
Oh, they said they're saying they were
occurring, and this computer wasn't even logged in.
They were in the wrong courtroom. They said that's what they're telling me here.
How are they in the wrong courtroom? But we've been doing this every day for over a year, right?
Child that was on Judge Porter, and once we logged out, we was trying
Who is talking right now?
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jasmine, the child?
No, Jasmine, the staff. She was the one over here responsible for the court.
Okay, so I mean, we started at 10:30, and they went to the wrong link.
Who's in Judge Porter courtroom?
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to figure out. There's 2 computers back there. Only one was in court.
Yes, but the normal practice is they keep the one in the back for the kids that are 10 days general population. They keep one on the quarantine part and one on the system. For 3 different areas.
But one wasn't being used.
Sometimes 2 aren't being used.
Yeah, but today one wasn't being used. So why didn't they take this one over here?
Normal practice is not move it, they just do it because of the way that they're pointing. So they normally leave one in the back general area, one in the quarantine, and they want to use. Because right now, like that female, it's still a small room, so they only have that one room for a female.
But when you know this kid still is a hearing going on with Judge Porter at 10:30, like, because they just joined the waiting room like 10:58, 10:57. So it's been 30 minutes. They're sitting there knowing that detention hearings are going on, that they leave a computer sitting around, right? Like, you see my problem with this?
That I can't. I mean, I know their big concern is the moving of kids. They don't want to move the females to that general area.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately the alternative is if they don't want to move the females to that area, we have to go in person, right? I mean, really, the one thing that just torques me is for an agency that's in possession of a body, right, of a child, the child cannot do anything. You'll have to bring him to court, right? And that's one of my pet peeves that has been for day one. Like, it is, like, I will always get upset with JPD for not bringing the child. Like, you'll have to do that, right? Okay, so looking forward, how do we fix this?
You can have an extra laptop set up on Echo, so it does a lot. If you have a court hearing going on that time, you will have to treat that problem. Now,
Why didn't we do that today, though?
we don't have any equipment. The thing is, the equipment, they only have 3 laptops.
But why couldn't they bring that other laptop that's not being used to EchoPod?
The only thing I is probably like the process is saying they don't want to move it over because they know probably have some other situations happening.
don't want to move it because they know they'll have more detention hearings.
So say for example, Parker was in the he's on like 2.2. Say if we had a large body, we had some more kids in the back. They wouldn't move from one from there to the other unit, especially if one kid had a knife in the room. And then we have a chance for it to be like on whether we try to have a spike ready to have more than into another area. Now, the back area, unlike the upper units, does have different rooms, but they could possibly have more than one cell at a time. But like the E, F, G, and H, there's only one room.
Okay, so then my question is, if we know, what time did the hearing in front of Judge Porter start?
I was in the parent court. I can tell you that.
So it went for an hour and a half?
They were pretty behind. Oh, wait, yes. Yes, it really did.
Okay.
Is it contested modification?
So if you know it's a contested modification, why are we tying up that room knowing detention hearing started in an hour? Like, this is what I can't figure out is how everyone here waiting for 30 minutes for this one child, and it's not her fault because she can't do anything. It's detention's fault. I mean, you have to point it out to where it is, right? And that has always been my biggest pet peeve. Sheriff, detention, police departments, whatever. It's if you're holding a person, like, that is your responsibility to bring them to court because they can't do it on their own, right? I mean, it's not fair to the child. Like, if they're showing up late to court, that's, that own person's fault, and you get the consequences of the court knowing that you're late to court. If you're in custody, you don't have a choice. That's not fair to them. Right. I don't know. I guess I'll email Jesus and figure out what we can do. But I mean, this can't, like, the other alternative for me as the court is just to do in person. Like, every single one is in person. And when Judge Whitley and Judge Evans and Nathan Heck at the Supreme Court asked me, why are we doing this in person? I say, because JPD cannot bring the person to Zoom. And that is exactly the reason I'm going to give. It is our juvenile probation's fault because they cannot bring an inmate over onto a computer. They can't bring a computer to an inmate. And that's why we have to go in person. It's been a consistent pattern. Like, I don't know why HPOD is fine. FPOD is the one that consistently has problems every week. Right? We can't go a full week without a problem with Foxtrot. So, yeah, I'm not mad with you guys. I just can't figure out why HPOD can get their act together and do it, but FPOD can't. Right? They can't. I don't know if it's a staffing issue or a logistics issue, a facilities issue, but that's the one. If I know there's gonna be a problem, it's gonna be Foxtrot Pod. All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. All right. So are you Daniela? Are you Daniela Morales?
Tabria Heron.
Okay, you're Tibria Hebron. Y'all missed Tibria. This is time for Daniela Morales.
Okay.
Can we bring Daniela Morales, please? You know what, we're gonna do all the females in person. So just get them ready to come in person. We're gonna do the males. If you're an attorney for any of the females, I'll have Zoom on and turn the camera around. All right, so we'll go Ashton Nichols. Is that male or female? Is Ashton Nichols? All right, Mr. Nichols, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I decide whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have a right to comment, you have a right to an attorney, and we have appointed Mr. Green as your attorney.
Present, Your Honor.
Hello, Mr. Green. All right, Mr. Nichols, let's see, you're 17 years old. You're on probation for possession of controlled substance, 1 to 4 grams of penalty group 2. You just went on probation in August or October. All right, so we issued a warrant for you in December. because you're arrested for drug charges, adult drug charges. We issued a DTA, a warrant for you, but you were released from jail because your friends posted bail. You did not return home after being released. We had no contact with you. We tried to reach you through email and cell phone, no response. You were not complying before your arrest on your probation. In November, you brought evidently a taser into your home and threatened to tase your dad.
Oh, sir.
And so Dad said that you told him that you really want to buy a gun, but unable to do so because you're under 18, so you bought a taser instead, saying that you need it for protection. And they're saying that your parents scheduled an appointment for drug assessment, a psychological evaluation. You refused to go, saying you didn't need it. You've been uncooperative at home, hostile, refusing to follow curfew or house rules. You were supposed to find a job as part of your probation, but you quit your job. And parents are saying that on social media, it looks like you're selling drugs. So, and you're positive for weed. Wait, no, did we not give him a drug test?
I'm going to take one today.
It's not your turn to talk. So, Mr. Tanya, did we give him a drug test?
They attempted, Your Honor, and staff indicated that he was not able to provide a sample.
Okay.
Came in.
All right. So, actually, I'm going to let you know when you refuse to provide a sample, and I just assume you're positive for everything. So, whether it's your heroin, your PCP habit, your fentanyl, whatever, you're just using all of it. So that's why you're hiding and not providing.
No, sir. I'm taking a test today.
The way I'm looking at it is, it seems like you're violating the terms of your probation. I'm going to go ahead and detain you since you're not.
May I say something, sir?
So,
Mr. Pickles, I'd advise you not to talk when the judge is talking. Okay.
That doesn't work out for you. So, but the fact that you got arrested for a charge, you didn't call our probation officer to let them know that this is going on, and then you refuse to respond to contacts while you're on supervision. That's just absconding. So I feel like you're not going to appear for court. If we have further courts, I'm going to go and detain you. I'm also going to let you know that since you are 17 years old, it is at my discretion whether I keep you here at Kimbo or I send you downtown to the adult jail. If I keep you here, then I'm expecting you to be level 1 outstanding. If your level drops, I will send you downtown and you will sit there until our cases are finished. Just so you know, on a juvenile case, you cannot bond out. There is no bond for juvenile cases, so you will sit there until the case is done. Right now, I know you were trying to say something. If you have a question for me, I don't mind answering your question, but if you want to tell me something, I'm pretty sure your attorney does not want you to tell me anything, all right? So do you have a question for me?
Can I go ahead and not listen to my attorney and talk to you directly, sir?
Well, everyone has a right to ignore the advice of counsel, but I'm telling you, you probably don't do it. I'll also let you know that I'm not going to change my mind. So if you feel like you're going to talk me out of it, it's not going to happen.
Okay, I don't feel like I'm going to talk you out of it. I just want to explain to my PO and that my parents are listening. I just want to explain the situation better. I understand that I'm being detained. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So thank you, sir. Please get your behavior level up, and then we'll figure out what to do from here. One piece of advice is well, no, I'm sorry. I'm a judge now. I can't give legal advice. So
can I say something?
Yes, sir.
So I was arrested for those charges in November, correct? And I was brought into Tarrant County Jail in Fort Worth, correct? And they released me and they didn't tell me anything. And I was outside, it was around 10 p.m. I was outside. I called my parents 3 times on the jail phone and it didn't answer. So I had someone else come pick me up and I stayed the night with them. And then I was planning to go home, but based off of phone calls with my parents, I didn't feel welcome to go home. So I was afraid. So I wanted to prove to them that I could take care of this on my own. And so January 11th, I went to the DMV to go get a new license so that I could get a job. And I also knew going in there, if I had a warrant, I would be arrested that day, but I wasn't. I just want my parents to know that I didn't go home not to run from them, but I wanted to come back and prove to them that I was doing the right thing.
I understand. And while that may be very noble, when you're on probation, you have to stay in contact. And let your probation officer know if you ever change addresses.
Right. So can I explain this? So
well, you know this isn't your hearing, right? Like we're not going to decide what happens.
I know. I just want my PO, my parents to understand. That's all.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think they get the picture that you may have had at least noble intentions.
Well, I was also like you're saying, like I didn't keep in contact because I had no phone. I had no way to contact anyone. They didn't tell me to contact anyone. They didn't tell me anything. They just threw me out on the street.
All right, stop making yourself a victim on this one, Ashton, okay?
I'm not. No, I'm not trying to.
So you're staying at a friend's house and they don't have a phone. People paid money to a bail bondsman to get you out and they don't have a phone.
No one bailed me out. They didn't say I was bailed out. They just threw me on the street,
Ashton,
sir.
Now you're lying to me because when you signed,
I'm not lying to you. Honest to God. Honest to God, I'm not lying to you.
When you're in jail and somebody bails you out, you have to sign a piece of paper saying that you understand the conditions and that you have a court date. You have to stay in contact with the court. Like you signed.
Okay, well, can we please go look at the footage because that did not happen to me, sir. I promise you, on hand to God, right hand to God.
Okay. Like I don't know why we look at the footage.
Because I don't know either. Because
you're missing the point here.
I'm not lying to you, sir, and you're calling me a liar.
Mr. Nichols, I'd advise you not to be discussing this in this forum till we could talk, okay?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you, Judge.
Lewis Parker. Mr. Parker, how are you? This is a 10-day hearing. You know what it's like. I got to decide whether to keep you or release you. Your mom was here earlier, but she couldn't follow the rules. She kept on turning her camera off and she was in a moving car. And on Zoom, I don't allow that to happen. Did you get time with your dad this weekend?
Yes, sir.
How was that?
It was good, sir.
Dad, everything worked out okay?
Yes, sir, it did.
I wish, I don't mean this negatively. I really don't. I wish you had been around more so you could see changes in your son, because I've seen changes, right? And I know it wasn't your choice. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying if I could go back in time, that's kind of one of those things that if I was a genie, I could just turn back, you know?
Right.
I've had you around more. I think you and your son both feel that way. So, all right, well, I'm glad. Dad, you picked him up on time, got him back on time?
Always.
Okay. I'm just curious, Dad. So what if I was to release him? Do you have a spot for him?
And honestly, I do not have one right now. And Monday I'll be starting truck driving school. It's Monday for sure this time. It's been a process trying to get enrolled, but this Monday coming up.
Okay. So
starting from the bottom.
Okay.
And Judge, if I may, I think that they've got a spot for him in Mahia now.
Does he need to, or is he going to finish our localized treatment?
I think they had a problem. There was a gap in it, and he forgot what they had taught him. And I believe now they're ready to take him at Mahia. They just need a negative COVID test.
And Your Honor, that progress report is probably on its way to you. I typed it Friday and turned it in electronically.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Thomas. All right, Parker. Well, I'm going to detain you for now, okay? But keep on doing the things that you're doing because you're doing the right things, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Xander Walensky.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I believe one of his parents, his mother, is there in person, and his father is available via Zoom.
Right. Hey, so whoever's on Fox Pod, we're doing all the females in person today. I know she's sitting there, but y'all should probably be lining up in this holdover next to the courtroom. Okay. Do we have there we go. We have Mom.
I'm here as well.
All right. Hello, Dad. Hi, Xander. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You know how it works. When you come in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I'm deciding whether to keep you in custody or release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Ms. Hopkins as your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Hopkins. All right.
Good morning, Judge.
So, Xander, you've been here as a runaway 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And you are on probation for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It seems like you always refuse to give a drug sample until this time. You tested positive for weed. So you're on probation for a felony. You're using weed. Let's see. According to Dad, last week he saw you smoking weed on the back patio. Prior to that, just a few days, she reported that you had weed delivered to the house while they were home. So we issued a warrant for you. You turned yourself in without incident. You refused a drug test on Saturday, and then you finally submitted a sample on Sunday.
Mr. Walensky.
So Ms. Gonzalez is requesting to be detained pending placement at TYRC's inpatient drug treatment program. Ms. Gonzalez, can you give me any kind of peer-reviewed study that shows that drug treatment works for marijuana use?
At this time, Your Honor, no. And I was waiting for you to ask that question. But our initial plan was to actually have him enter the FPP program. And he was actually supposed to, I believe, be enrolled today, this afternoon, with outpatient as another service to kind of help support his substance use or try to, hopefully decline that use. But in speaking with the parents, they felt that he needed to be placed in inpatient drug treatment rather than participate in those programs at the time because he's continued to use while on EM.
So ultimately, what do you want to do?
Well, I've spoken to the director at TYRC, and they do have a bed available for him. But as you know,
TYRC is really for the drug treatment, though, right, Ms. Gonzalez?
That's correct. That's correct. And so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But him using marijuana, that's just a choice. It's not. I see nothing that indicates it's an actual addiction that can be treated. So if he's just insisting on doing it, then TYRC. There's no reason why we need to spend county resources on changing behavior that Mr. Walensky does not want to change. All right, so y'all are gonna have to convince me on this one. I'm not sure I'm gonna order him to TYRC. If there's another alternative, I'm all ears. But the sobriety rate for marijuana use, 1-year sobriety rate is gonna be 18%, right? Mr. Walensky, I see your hand raised, but I'm not sure. I mean, we're just kind of talking about what we're looking at potentially happening to you. But
can I please just say one thing?
Your attorney doesn't want you to say anything. If you have a question, I think she's okay with you asking a question, but if you want to tell me something, she's not okay with that.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
In regards to marijuana addiction and the treatment that he would receive, whether it is outpatient or inpatient, when it is a dual thing and includes individual counseling, then can get to the issue of why there is there.
And that, you were absolutely right, Ms. Hopkins.
We may be able to, the treatment is, it can help and it can lead to not using anymore. I'm currently trying to find a service for you, but as you know, and additionally, Your Honor, if he was supposed to start that FPP program this afternoon, if he is here in detention, he will lose his spot for the FPP. And if he does that, then he's back at the bottom of the list and we're not doing anything to help this child. I would strongly encourage you, Your Honor, to consider releasing him so that he can start FPP this afternoon and or get into that treatment facility.
So, but Ms. Hopkins, you're absolutely correct. But when you do a dual focused treatment program for THC use, your 1-year sobriety rate jumps up to 28%. I mean, that's what else? You can't, you bat 28% in baseball, you don't make the Hall of Fame. I mean, you can't,
Well,
that's
we're
how low
not
the numbers
here
are.
to make the Hall of Fame, Your Honor. We're here to help this individual get the treatment and help that he needs. I mean, that's why we started him on FPP. If the whole idea of this system is to assist the kid and not have him reoffend, then we have to get him treatment and we have to help him through that.
Mom, your hand is raised.
Yes, I'm sorry. Judge, can I say one thing about that TH deal? Because he was tested before. He's been in the hospital for using other drugs. The only reason he's not using drugs right now is because he's home. But he has used other drugs several times. Don't shake your head. That's not true. You know it.
Mama, I want to tell you, Mama, can I just say something?
No, this is not the time. Your attorney does not want you to talk.
Judge, can I say something?
Yes, Dad.
I believe the dad wants to.
Yeah, so I understand what the lawyer's saying. I disagree with what the lawyer's saying, and here's why. We bring Xander home. It's like it starts all over again, and it continues and continues. Xander needs to be taken out of that environment and put into an environment where he can actually have a clean, sober living, and also get help counseling, which is what the probation officer told me, in an inpatient type situation, out of the situation that he's in with his gangbanging friends and people who are smoking marijuana. You bring him home, it's going to start all over again. And that's what we're trying to stop. You can put an electric monitor on him. You can do whatever you want. When he's home, it's a whole different ballgame.
I mean, he even told
It's inpatient treatment away from everybody, away from his gang-banging friends, away from the people who are providing marijuana for him, completely out of the situation.
Dad, you understand, all the studies, I cannot find any studies that really treat marijuana use, right? It's a choice, it's not an addiction. And so if that's the case, we send him to treatment, whether he succeeds or fails. When he gets out, if he hasn't chosen to quit using THC, he'll just go back to it.
And other drugs.
Yeah, other drugs are different. Other drugs, there's all kinds of peer-reviewed studies that show whether it's heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, like you can treat those. Marijuana is not an addiction; it's a choice.
But I believe he'll go on to the other drugs. I mean, being a principal and seeing these teenagers and not getting the help they need, they always ended up somewhere. I mean, I had three of my students.
Mom, you're preaching to the choir. Like I'm with. Like you're not convincing me of all this. This is stuff I already know and believe.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it was my understanding that going to an inpatient treatment, it wasn't just for marijuana usage. It was also counseling and trying to get to the root of the problem and fixing the root of the problem away from the situation that he is currently in when he's at home. In other words, away from the gangbangers, away from the people who are bringing him drugs, and getting counseling to an area where somebody can get to him and find out the root of the problem and fix it.
Yes. All right. So this, I've made my decision on Xander. What I'm going to do is, Ms. Hopkins, this is, I understand an FPP may actually help with the behavioral issues that we're more concerned about. But back in September, he actually tested positive for methamphetamines when he came in here, right? And even though he's not positive right now, it's only weed. I don't know if he's not using other stuff while this is pending. So I want to wait. I want to detain him until I get the results of a hair follicle test, right? That just, the street drugs really gets me nervous about this child, right? And so if he's clean, then I'm open to all kinds of ideas. But if he's dirty for hard drugs, we need to look at a placement. I mean, that's just, either we do this now or he's going to have to try and do this as an adult. Xander, if you have a question for me, I don't mind answering your question. But if you want to tell me something, your attorney does not want you to tell me. Right. So you have a question?
I just want to say one thing to my mom.
No, hold on. No. Your mom can call you on the phone. You can tell her that directly, okay? This is not a chat room. All right. Thank you, Xander. All right, so at this point, we are, these proceedings have been open to the public under Article 1, Section 13 of the Texas Constitution, which provides the public meaningful access to court proceedings. However, the Texas Family Code specifically states in 54.08C that when a child is under 14 years old, that the court proceedings should be closed to the public unless the court finds that the interests of the public or the interests of the child are better served by opening these proceedings to the public. Unable to make such a finding, I will now discontinue the live stream of this Zoom hearing to prevent public access.
Are we done, Judge?
It'll be a 20-second tape delay.
Judge, are we done with Xander?
Well, what we have is, let's see, oh, no, this is a female. So yes, I need Ms. Hopkins. Can you stay on as attorney of the day? Or is Mr. Adler physically in the building?
On Zoom. I'm here on Zoom, Judge.
Are you in the building though?
No, Your Honor, I'm
Oh, you
sorry.
left, okay. All right, so we'll leave. Ms. Hopkins, I was gonna pinch hit him if he was physically in the building, but he was not. We'll leave, I think this is Ms. Johnson's client. Ms. Hopkins is the attorney of the day. Mr. Adler, if you want to stay and watch, you're welcome to, but I think Ms. Hopkins has it covered.
No, I have a child, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because we skipped the females, okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.